Good evening. My name is Art Sprue. I'm Chair of the Planning Board. This is the Town of Chatham Planning Board Hybrid Meeting, October 27th, 2025. It's 5 p.m. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly thereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chair. I don't see any notifications. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025 signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Planning Board is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 346-006-115#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. I'll begin with the roll call vote. Warren Chain.
Warren Chain, present.
Bob Werschafter.
Bob Werschafter, present.
Frank Shear.
Frank Shear, present.
Bob Dubus.
Bob Dubus, present.
Charlene Greenhall and Catherine Halpern are absent, and Art Sprue, I'm present. The minutes were from the meeting on September 22nd, 2025. There was only 4 members present for that meeting, and we don't have those 4 members present for tonight. I would just suggest we defer this to the next meeting, if that's...
Well, I could, so everybody has it. There is one change perhaps.
Sure.
Because I think it's.
We can do that.
It's under the release of covenant for 35 and 50 Stetson. Third paragraph where it's 1.5%. I think that would be 150%, Christine. It's just a typo, I think. It's, okay, yeah.
Good catch. Okay, so we'll bring this up for a vote when the full 4 members are present. Next is the definitive subdivision. This is 104 Crow Road, Eldridge. We received a notification. Spoke to the owners who've agreed to continue this hearing until November 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Warren Chain.
Approve.
Bob Werschafter.
Approved.
Frank Shear.
Approve.
Bob Dubus.
I can't answer that question.
Oh, okay.
I can't answer that question.
All right. You abstain, and then Art Sprue, I approve. Next, site plan approval, amended site change for 71 Crawl Road. We have also received a letter from the applicant's engineer on this on behalf of CCNY Inc. I am writing to respectfully request a continuance of the site plan approval, amended change of use application for 71 Crawl Road until a meeting on November 10th. Therefore, do we have a motion to continue?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, do a roll call vote. Warren Chain.
Approve.
Bob Werschafter.
Approve.
Frank Shear.
Approve.
Bob Dubus.
Approve.
And
Approve.
Art Sprue, I approve. All right, let's see. And now we have a site plan approval for 1291 Main Street, Unit 1A, Burgess, Max, Chatham Fish and Lobster. if you could probably go to that one there.
So it does appear as though we also have someone watching online with regard to this application. I don't know that we'll need them, but, okay.
Okay. So if you could introduce yourself?
Eric Burgess, I'm the project manager for all of Max Chatham's operations.
And explain the application of the project and what you're asking for?
So this is a change of use application. We're basically looking to turn what was a rental unit into an extension of our operations on that site. And we want to turn it from strictly retail into a hybrid ice cream shop and retail space. No exterior work. It's all inside the building, inside the unit. We're just reconfiguring, and we're requesting a change of use approval.
Okay.
Can you point out which property it is?
Yes. So, if you look.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there's a pointer.
There's a pointer by,
I don't know how it works, but.
There you go.
there you go.
So it's hard for me to see. All right, so.
Speak into the mic though, please.
I'm sorry. This appears to be the fish market space right here, so it
Yes.
would be this unit right here.
Okay. I understand you're also changing some of the striping and adding 3 parking spaces?
That was done as, per the last approval we have when we
Okay.
renovated the space that was the old fish market and turned it into the tap room.
Oh, okay.
So that work's been completed. It's just that it's still on that site plan. Because there's no changes to the outside, I didn't feel like it was necessary to submit a new site plan for this particular project.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Bob?
Because this is going to be for an ice cream?
Yes, ice cream and a hybrid of ice cream and retail.
Are there going to be any outside windows?
No,
No, so it's all inside.
all inside.
Good to go.
Any other questions?
Just for my recollection, how many approved seats are now authorized?
So there's no change to the, there was no seats before, but in the calculations, we're actually going down because as I understood in my pre-planning meeting with the town planner and other town officials, we only require 2 seats to have what we thought was going to be 100% takeout. But because of the zone we're in, they're required to have at least 2 seats, so that's 1 spot. And we're only gonna have 2 employees, so it's a net gain of 2 spots, because we only need 4 spots, according to the calculations, and we have 6 allotted for that unit.
No, the question was really, how many approved seats do you have for patrons
Well,
for the site?
for the whole entire building, or
No.
just for that unit?
No, for the whole building, just from my recollection, I don't
Oh,
remember the number that has
100
been
and
approved.
something, like,
I thought it was around 101 before.
Yeah, well, that-
In that order.
yes.
Well, that's the parking spaces.
That's the number of parking spaces. So you're looking for the number of seats?
Yeah,
I believe it's 90-something for the restaurant and for the tap room. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to answer that question 100% accurately because I wasn't aware that would come up.
Okay.
But we're not asking for any increase.
No, I'm aware of that. Thank you. No other questions?
Frank?
Christine, you noted in the memo there was an inconsistency on the number of parking places.
I think now that the
that been
project
clar-
manager had just answered the question with regard to that, because I didn't understand that those were existing
Right.
spaces. I thought they were new proposed spaces.
No, they're all existing now. We've had everything restriped, so we're in compliance for the amount of volume that we have.
So you're happy now?
I'm happy
Okay.
now, yes.
Right.
So as the applicant had said, they had come in and met with the Director of Community Development, the zoning liaison, and the building commissioner, in addition to myself, to go over the proposed thing. There is a hallway between an internal hallway within the building to get back and forth for their purposes, but it will not be for the public's. And then this is seen as a supplemental thing to the existing main use of the site. So it'll be like an add-on service thing, but there's no additional, I know there had been a lot of questions about whether or not there was any additional seating outside. The only thing that I would remind the applicant, if you do put any additional signage or anything like that, then you need to come back before some of the different boards. And then the DPW had expressed interest in making sure that the pavement markings throughout the site, especially at the entrance and exit, that they be clearly identified so we can kind of help people get through the site there. But
Yes.
other than that, we had no other issues.
We've actually have done that recently. We redid all the entry markings and all the space markings per that last approval for our previous project there. And I've got photographs that I can share with the town if they require, or they're welcome to go to the site. But and we're gonna be doing a storm drain project there next, after this. And we're gonna end up restriping the whole entire parking lot at that point. We didn't see it as being something we should do right now because we gotta tear up a lot of the driveway when we do that storm drain work.
The only comment I have is anything you can do to, during the peak summer months, you get a lot of visitors there, and they're not necessarily in tune about the best route to take on your property. Anything you could do to improve that communication, whether it's by striping or by signs, that would be great. I know the rest of the year, it really doesn't have too much of an effect, but certainly during those busy months. If somebody goes the wrong way and they're trying to park when the stripes are pointed the wrong way, it's sort of tough for them to do that. They sort of figure it out, but
No doubt. We,
it's more of a mess for you than it is for us, but,
knock on wood, we had no incidents this summer, so we're thinking that the remarking work that we have done and the added lighting per our last approval have alleviated that situation, or drivers are getting better, we're not quite sure.
I don't think they're getting better around here.
Yeah,
They're being educated.
So I guess my question is very similar to that, because the ice cream store is not gonna have a front sign
no.
on it, so they're gonna have to direct people to it.
So what it's gonna have is, and we haven't gone for approval for the signage yet, but there was next to our fish market sign on the overhang roof, there was a sign for Cape Shark, and then the subsequent tenant after that, and we plan on putting an ice cream shop sign in that space, same size. And then we're gonna put some signage on the glass door, within keeping of the 10% coverage regulation.
Okay, so they'll come in and they'll make a left turn and.
Yeah, and what we're thinking is that mainly this is gonna be for restaurant customers. We're not gonna actively pursue any outside advertising, come eat ice cream. We're feeling it's gonna be a natural extension of the restaurant that we have now, where it's not possible for us to do anything but ice cream sandwich options because we just don't have the room.
Okay, all right,
So they will be going before the Historic Business District Commission for
Yes.
signage.
just, if it was on the other side and they came in, then they would be having to go all the way around.
That's
to get
correct, yeah.
themselves in the right direction, so, but in this case, I think it naturally will go across and then make the turn, so.
Yep.
I'm not,
okay. If there's no other comments or questions, Frank, yes?
Well, this isn't for the applicant, but on the proposed conditions,
Yep,
number 2 talks about future lighting. For both of the Penrose projects, we've now asked that it be warm lighting not greater than 3,200 Kelvin.
right.
I'm wondering whether we should now start integrating that into our conditions.
We can revise your conditions any way that you want going forward. I usually take just the standard ones each time and carry them forward. So if that's something you want to do going forward, I know that the applicant has addressed that they've put the lighting in already, but we can definitely do that going forward for all other things, or even for this one if you want me to put in some specific
Well, I
thing.
don't want to create any problems for the applicant. If lighting is already in, it's, just going forward, though, we might
Yep,
want to
okay, all
consider
right, we can,
doing
you,
that.
I think
will
that's an
run it by
excellent
you,
idea,
and
yeah.
then we can propose it to the board for the next one, okay.
Okay.
All right, I guess I entertain a motion to approve the site plan approval, amended change of use with conditions for the proposed ice cream shop with retail merchandise in support of Max Chatham Fish and Lobster, meets the necessary requirements for the criteria for approval pursuant to the protective zoning bylaw with the conditions as stated above.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Warren Chain,
Approve.
Bob Werschafter,
Bob Wirtschafter, approve.
Frank Shear,
Approve.
Approved.
Dubus, and Art Sprue, I approve.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next, we have approval not required. And do we have an applicant? Yes? You step up and introduce yourself and
Say before we get going on this one, your application package, it seemed like the surveyor or the engineer accidentally put another plan at the back of it, so we want to just make sure that everybody knows that was not part of, it's got nothing to do with this. It was for 817 Riverview Drive.
Cool. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay?
It was a mistake.
if you could introduce yourself and explain your project.
My name is Jeff Cronin. I'm from Ryder and Wilcox in Orleans. I am representing Ann Smolensky and also, well, her son, Tom Smolensky. I'm here to request endorsement of an approval not required plan showing a division of 725 Old Harbor Road, map 15I, parcel 19A4, into two lots, 4A and 4B. Lot 4A will attain required lot area and lot frontage. Lot 4B is not a buildable lot and will be combined with a budding lot at 55 Windward Passage, which is her son, Tom Smolensky's property in the rear. They share the rear lot line, and that's basically it. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Any board member have any questions of the applicant?
I don't have a question of the applicant to say, but this is the first time it's come up, but the new law that allows building on smaller lots
Oh, yeah.
is now relevant. Because it says here proposed lot 4B does not have sufficient frontage, but according to the new law requirements of the state, that doesn't matter anymore, and they can build something on it.
Well, I think they still have to have accessible frontage to a public way or a way. Frank, you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we still have to adopt, and there's a time limit, our version of that provision that you're talking about. And one of the things that we can do, and we ought to consider doing, is putting in a ratio of, square footage to total square footage of the property. And this is a very small lot.
Right.
So if we had that kind of ratio, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right. And I don't think it's fair to this gentleman to hold this up. I was just pointing this out, that it's
So
not.
what happens in this particular case, so when we see an A&R, one of the things that I always make sure is on there is that it says it's not buildable. So the plan note, I usually have them put it on the plan note and then also within the small piece, that it's a non-buildable lot, period. That's it. So this also states the purpose.
Yep.
So that they're going to merge it with the other.
The other
The
property.
question that came up today when Art and I were discussing it is, will you be doing a merger, an A&R with a merger of those two lots? Or will you be doing that by deed, or are they just gonna erase the line and go
Usually, we would just do that by deed.
by deed? Okay. So that was the only question about how we had it, but, so in this particular case, you would be covered from that, because they've said right on there the purpose of it. and, you know, they're held
But
to
going
that when you
forward,
sign
I'm not sure that's going to work.
Oh, you don't think that's gonna work enough?
Right, right. So I think we're going to be required to allow building on undersized lots.
Again, I think you have to take a look at the criteria. It still has to have an accessible way.
And we're talking about affordables, and there's other requirements, but we've got to work, and this is one of the priorities, we need to come up with this year, actually. There's a time limit, so.
Bob, did you have?
I have an odd question probably. So the lot they're cutting off of the primary building right here, they're taking this lot and giving it to their son,
Yes.
which is abuts them.
In the rear, yes.
How big is the son's lot?
It's 22,000 square feet.
Okay, and this makes it 30,000 square foot?
It will make it,
So it gives them, what it does is give them an extra bedroom.
I'm not sure about that. I just know that they wanted to build a fence in a different place.
I'm just saying, but that's what it, tentatively, that's what it does. It gives them another 10,000 square feet to put another bedroom on.
Right.
Which is totally okay. It's a good way to do it.
Okay.
So I'm in favor, I'm in favor of this, you know, but that's what it does.
Yep.
Gives them an extra extra bedroom.
All right, and any other comments, questions, board members?
No.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to endorse the A&R plan entitled The Plan of Land in Chatham, Mass., owned by Ann Solinsky, being a division of Lot 4 shown on PL Book 253, page 96, prepared by D. Jeffrey Cronin, PLS, for Ryder and Wilcox, dated October 8th, 2025.
So moved.
And,
Second.
Second, and we'll do a roll call vote. Warren Chain,
Approve.
Bob Wershafter,
Approved.
Frank Shear,
Approve.
Bob Dubus,
Approved.
and Art Spur, I approve.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I think that was some interesting points of what we might have to deal with on this coming up between now and Maytown meeting. I only read through a part of that guidance. I only went through for a part of the guidance that was attached to our packet here. It's just in draft form, but I think that we have to ask some questions about this.
Well, the law is not in draft form.
Yeah.
The law is pretty clear.
Oh, I see, okay.
The applicant is asking about the thing. I'm going to have the planning board members sign the Mylar, and then we'll scan it, and we'll get back to you tomorrow to come pick it up.
I'll pick it up whenever it's ready.
Yeah, so Annie or myself will reach out to you with that.
Great, thank you.
And I do agree, I guess, I didn't quite understand the bedroom thing, number one, with that would open up, because that other lot is built upon. So thank you for explaining that to me now. And then number two, obviously, that we need to, I was thinking that the non-buildable was covering it, and we were given the reason why.
Yeah.
But I can see what you're saying about that now, so I will start looking into that, because I do think that that's probably one of the more important things that you do, because we seem to have a lot of these little things that come forward.
Well, and it's interesting, who does it come before? Does it come before any board at all in town?
Well, it has to come before us. It's a zoning change.
So that would be for the zoning change, but say the zoning change passes, I mean, then it's just a building department issue, isn't it? It doesn't even have to come before us.
I would think so. That's the problem. We're
Yeah.
creating this little small space that we said
Yep.
is unbuildable, and now
unbuildable.
it's not, that's no
It's
longer.
still, it still has to comply with the building code.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, for setbacks and things like that?
No.
No? That's out the door now.
This is why we have to focus on it right away.
I think you are very correct on that.
But it is the case that, from what has been said here, is it an obligation to merge the lot? Because once it's merged into the abutter's lot, then the whole question of a small lot on which you might have a,
My
house built.
understanding is an A&R that doesn't have to define what that, I mean, he noted it on the
no,
plan in here, but they don't have to
grant you that.
merge
It's
it.
just
Yeah.
in the conversation, it's clear their intent is to merge it with the adjoining lot.
Yeah.
now we have a reason why, makes sense.
Right.
But at the same time, the question of having to have zoning that recognizes this small lot as perhaps becoming buildable would be moot if in fact there were now an obligation to merge as they indicated they're going to.
Well, I think Bob Dubus brought up an interesting point, because if the lots do not have sewer and it's a small lot, how does Board of Health deal with this with a septic system?
There's no problem. They got 30,000 square feet.
No, I'm talking about a small lot. I mean.
A small lot.
What happens if
Like
it's?
Like Frank said,
Yeah.
it has to have access to a street.
Yeah,
Or a way or
a way.
something like
right.
that.
Easement
Now,
or
the
something.
Small lot that, in the setbacks and stuff, that has to be looked into, and you just can't force a small square lot on your town and change everything without some kind of feed, or, you know, they just can't make a small lot and say, okay, here's a small
Yeah,
lot now.
right.
What kind of house are you gonna put on it? Obviously, a small one. Now, is this for the ones that you can buy and come in a kit, and you just unfold them?
Yeah.
And there's a house, single bedroom house.
Yeah.
And there's any lot can have one bedroom,
Yeah,
no matter what size it is.
no matter what size.
Well, we do have lot sizes in this town.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a very interesting
Yep.
thing to get into. It's gonna take a little while, I think.
I think,
Since we have such an expert here that's looked into it, I think we have a spokesman right here.
right. But we should put this on our agenda, one of our meetings, so that we do have background and discussion on this and flesh this out a little bit before we even take any action, because I'm not quite sure what it is that we should or shouldn't do associated with this.
Yeah, it's in the seasonal rules.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Also, Mr. Chairman, that we normally deal with people that are moving lot lines to help their neighbors for one.
Right.
Or to, again, make the lot coverage a little different than what it was, so that they can build
Right.
a different spot. Just because it's not buildable by itself.
Right,
So like you say, when they merge it, that
Yep.
becomes, that lot doesn't become a lot anymore, it becomes a part of the main thing.
that's right.
So, but as what Frank's saying, that this now is gonna become a problem.
Yeah,
Like, you can have small lots in Howard, I believe, because they allow trailers.
oh, really?
But with the new fad is the small houses. And they come in a package, and you unfold them, and they fold right up, and there's nothing wrong with them. We just has to be prepared for it.
Yep.
Where, how, and what.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The next piece is if there's anything the board would like to go over, the final letter that went out to the ZBA on the Zero Meeting House Road that was included in your packet. If there are any comments or questions associated with this, I had
So
worked.
we did receive one comment from Warren
Yep,
about, I forgot exactly what, you can read it, right?
Well, it wasn't by objecting to anything which is in it, it was by,
I'm sorry,
it wasn't with regard to objecting to anything that was in the draft, but only
we added something.
that what is in the draft, I think, is insufficient to explain what I think the board's preference would be with respect to the access to the bike path.
the safety of it,
Yeah, the safety of it.
Yep.
It's going to be a winding path, it's going to be going down to the bike path, people are going fast. Going up, you're likely to be walking. So, I mean, it really ought to be wider, and this width of it specified, and there ought to be something in there talking about there ought to be a way to get off of the bike path and not into the poison ivy. There ought to be a
Yep.
a transition to the woods, because it's just woods at the moment.
That's right.
And, you know, it did seem to me the safety issue was of sufficient import to talk about the sidewalk that is going to be over on the main road.
Yep.
And that seems to me access to that bike path is going to be down that path, and therefore that path ought to be very clearly made a priority with respect to the safety issues of being able to wide enough so you can pass. But and you're going to have electric bikes on there, you know, until somebody can figure out how to keep them off the bike paths, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the reason for my comment, that I thought we could perhaps elaborate and put a little more teeth in the comment that we had.
I haven't seen any updated plans from the applicant yet. They have been responding to peer review comments, but they haven't made any adjustments based on anything that we've indicated. I think they will have they did indicate, especially with a peer review response from the traffic comments, they did talk about at least 3 or 4 items that were changed, and they were being modified by a plan that has not been submitted yet. I think it'll give us another opportunity. I noted that one of the other things that they wanted to do is they note on there that the drive is supposed to be a transfer to the town to own and maintain, and a portion of a drainage would be, and then an access point off of Meeting House Road to get to that drainage for maintenance is being provided. The trouble is they have a horrible access as it interfaces with Meeting House Road, and that should be corrected too. I don't remember seeing that before, but I did see it in the most recent one. So I think there's going to be other opportunities for us to comment, and I think we can include this and maybe a few others once we see an updated plan, because I think there's still going to be things to be resolved. I thought a big one is the number of parking places. I'm not quite sure where that's going. That could change the entire dynamics of this. They're really shortchanging this. This is not as many opportunities as they have over at 1533 Main Street. There's no place else to park, and these are most of these are 2 and 3 bedrooms. They've got to warrant a second vehicle in many cases. Bob.
I was noticing that they allotted 1.5 parking places to each unit.
Yep.
Which I never seen, well, I have seen a few 0.5 cars, but I'm a little wondering, how the heck do you get a 1.5 car, one car and then another one beside it or behind it? I think that something else have to come around. Either that or we all buy scooters.
Well, I think our letter to the ZBA said that we suggested that they use the 1.85 that they used at 1533 Main Street, and that would increase the number of spaces up from 61 to 78. There's no place else for these vehicles to go, so what happens when additional people want to bring a vehicle into that unit? There's 42 units.
Maybe they can bring it through the twine field and park it out in the
Well,
bushes.
yeah. But I think that's a major point that we have to continue to bring forward. We run into parking as being one of the biggest things with site plans. And I view this as a site plan, even though it's a residential, but it is a site that they're building in here. And if they have no place else to go, where are they going to go? Are they going to park it in where the bike parking is across the street there? I mean, it's not a good way to actually end up. And you don't want them parking on Meeting House Road, that's State Road.
They'll probably park on the road going over the bridge, going up
Yeah,
on the side,
Yeah.
reducing it to one lane. That's probably what will happen.
yeah. So I think we have to keep pushing this point that there needs to be some adjustment for that piece of it, particularly for this site.
Well, there is the access road to the drainage part. They could,
It's true.
they could fill in a little bit and make a few parking places there, and you have to walk up or get one of those golf carts to drive you around.
I mean, it's a challenging site, no question about it, but with the number of units that they're putting in there, and I think that they put in more units than I think what the RFP was.
What the RFP had recommended a certain number of units, and this is above and beyond that
Above and
number of
beyond it, yeah.
units. So maybe that is where they should start with regard to the review, making them.
And I think the recommendation in the RFP was because it was a difficult site. It's not a flat site like 1533 Main Street, so it has its challenges. I think we're gonna have some more bites at the apple in here. I'd like to see the updated plans. I'd like to see what they're doing with the abutters and their access. I'd like to see the sidewalk that goes all the way down to 28. There's a lot of things that I think that they haven't even addressed as part of their original submission that they hopefully will address with subsequent submissions.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what,
go
my
ahead.
comment about the bike path was
Yeah.
along your thought, just to make sure they're aware of our concerns. So
Right.
when we finally do see it, it's not, oh, well, gee,
Yeah.
we never. Well, with respect to the parking, it would seem to me, where I come from is, the number of spaces authorized should certainly be no less than has been proposed and is going forward for the
Yeah.
Main Street site.
Yeah.
That would be, it can't be less than that.
Right.
But it's also the case that it's a bigger concern to me for the Meeting House Road site, because in addition to parking spaces, there needs to be places for delivery trucks, there needs to be a potential space for a school bus stop or for a public transportation bus stop for service vehicles that are there. All of that has never been identified on the
We did note
plans
that.
we have.
We
We've
did
noted
note
it.
that in our
But the
comments, yeah.
point is, the available space that is there that
Yeah.
requires the number of spaces that they were requesting, which is, inadequate, provides no space for those other activities which is needed. So there's even less available for the space, put it this way, the spaces they provided cannot be provided as well as, because it cannot be provided if they were to allocate some of the available space for delivery trucks, for service vehicles,
Right.
for a bus stop, et cetera. So the parking is more critical, it seems to me, than even what is superficially the case, just having read the proposal and
Yep.
our comments, so.
So, again, it's, if there's some other things that we need to look into on this and comment on, I think we'll have opportunities. Please make your notes on this. We'll keep it on our agenda. I don't see in the next 3 meetings that the ZBA has, that have a meeting about the Meeting House Road site.
But is there any requirement that with it, a new plan come before us?
They reference an updated plan in, and you haven't seen the responses to the traffic comments from the peer review consultant. That was Ty and Bond. There was responses from the applicant on that, and in there, they've stated that there is going to be revisions and updates to the plan to address some of the comments from the peer review. They haven't stated what those are, so we haven't seen them yet, and as soon as,
But is there a requirement for a 40B proposal to come forward before this board with a
No.
revised plan? I
not
didn't
at all.
think there
Not at all.
isn't.
No, only did a ZBA.
Yeah, that's
But-
why I wanted to make sure that the comments about the bike path and then the parking are somehow relayed to the people that are gonna give final okay to this. Since it won't necessarily come back to us with a plan to look at.
But we have a very alert town planner and community, so I'm certain we'll be advised.
Yes, we have a good rapport with the zoning board liaison, so we are getting all of the updates.
Right.
I do think it can be in the next letter. I do think you should eventually do a follow-up, but I think we should just wait a little bit until we get those revised plans. There was something that came in today with the traffic study review, so they will have to do some, they'll have to do some revisions to the plans. And then it'll give us another opportunity to say what our concerns are. They might not solicit our concerns, but that does not mean that we can't give them.
job of listening to us on the other properties.
Well, at least they had to read this whole big, long letter into the,
Yeah, into the record.
into the record, so.
I think that looking for, and one of the things that, I listened to the last meeting that the board had that I missed. I listened to the entire meeting, and it was very good comments by the board, and they took a lot of those, worked them into the draft that Charlene and Christine had put together. I had added a few, and even there was a comment from the public associated with that, especially on the entrance drive. I thought that was a very important comment where that's very narrow. It doesn't really provide a good safe access if some children have to walk down in there. I only had guardrail. So I had put in a section in there, let's put a buffer between the sidewalk and the roadway. In addition to the guardrail, put a fence along each side because the guardrail doesn't really prevent anybody from that's walking by. And who knows what children do as they're skipping and running to a bus stop. So I thought those were certainly additional safety things. That was brought up by one of the members from the public, and I thought that was very worthwhile, including in the letter, so I did add that. Okay, I think the other thing that I'd like to go over and has to do with long-range planning. If any other comments on this one before we leave that? No. I've asked Christine to take a look at times, but perhaps we can go out for public input and discussion on the West Chatham Neighborhood Center. The last time we had done this, we had met at the community center in the large room upstairs on that on a Saturday. I would propose that we do that again, and I think, Christine, you said that is a fairly flexible schedule associated with that.
Right, there is a fairly flexible schedule. We are still waiting for the seasonal communities. You all had that as part of this package, and then a few other things that you had brought up.
Yep.
I would say that the seasonal communities piece we need to, look at first, because that's gonna impact all of those other things.
Right.
Staff is beginning to work on the ADU bylaw, which will ultimately come before you as well. So those two things can happen prior to West Chatham. We need to get those things in place and then see how these two comprehensive permits for the 40Bs are going forward. So there'll kind of be a couple of different things moving and coming before you to review. I think it's easier than starting your own bylaw and from scratch, because it'll be all different departments bringing it in together, and then it'll be a review of it for a reality check.
We will
But it
still have to
does-
hold a public hearing on it, though,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, yes, you
So
will,
it's
you will ultimately get the last word before it goes to town council, and then the select board holds their public hearings as well.
It's gonna be a busy public hearing schedule coming next year. So I think for us to get at least an informational session, I'd like to get 2 out on the West Chatham Neighborhood Center, perhaps one in December, one in maybe February. I plan on putting together something with Christine about what is it that we should be conveying out there at one of these public information meetings and soliciting input. But if any of the board members have any thoughts on that, just send a note to Christine, and then she and I can work something up on this.
See, Art, just for my clarification for me, are we planning to propose amendments to our draft as a result of the seasonal communities designation?
Well,
I'm thinking of, we can now put a
That was-
reference in there for.
Right, that was what you were supposed to be doing. We still don't have the draft, the seasonal communities thing that you looked at in your package today. That's out for public comment at the state level at this point. That's not finalized. I don't anticipate that it'll change much. I had spoken to Katie about it today, and she doesn't think it'll probably change much based on the public comment period either. And the town already had accepted the seasonals community
Designation,
component of
yeah.
that. So that's why we're gonna need to make sure we get that piece, an understanding of that piece, and then some of those other things that were brought up tonight. And then the ADU piece is important because we're working right now, because we don't have anything with regard to the ADUs really in our bylaw. We're working off of the state one on that one. So, and then those two will kind of fill into the West Chatham. So realistically, you might not see West Chatham in time for this town meeting. I don't know, to be very honest with you. I mean, you can keep moving on it, but all of these other pieces are going to have to be clearly spelled out before that goes forward. This memorandum here for you, so this is just to the planning board of all of the things that we're talking about. It's not in any specific order or anything like that. It's been the things that you're mentioning. And we will, based on, as the meetings go over the next 2 months, we'll kind of fine tune it a little bit, and this will be brought into the planning board's annual report that goes to the select board. So this letter won't be going to them, but.
I thought one of the things I was looking for was there anything about affordable attainable housing in the seasonal community piece? And I didn't see, other than the tiny homes and tiny lots piece, I didn't see anything similar to what we had drafted in the West Chatham Neighborhood Center. So
Yeah.
I don't see what we have drafted as anything other than a good step to go forward within what we've been doing. So I don't see that as requiring a revision. We might want to refine things, but until we have some input from the public, I'm not quite sure what is it that we should focus on.
Yeah, I admit that I haven't spent a lot of time looking on it, but I don't see any reason to change West Chatham based on the seasonal. That's kind of where
I didn't see anything either, but I just did a quick read at it
Right.
since I've been back.
You might not change anything realistically, but timing is going to matter in this particular case, right? If there's two outstanding comprehensive permit or 40B applications that are through there, going through the process and all of that stuff, people might be hesitant to, so you might,
Sure,
you might want to plan accordingly based on that, so you don't have another,
okay.
so you've got to read the room, basically,
And-
is what I'm getting at.
And I think that's a reason for probably at least two of these presentations to the community outreach program would be helpful. Probably not to do as much of talking as it is hitting the highlights of it and then asking for thoughts and inputs from the community, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a supportive vote on this. If there is some objection to something there, maybe it is something that we think is a good idea. We hadn't addressed it completely, and we can refine it. We certainly did enough refinement at the beginning of this year before we got to the point of where we are right now. I feel very comfortable in the outcome of what we've produced so far, though. It's solid, and certainly there might be an item here or there that we didn't think about that the public brings up.
Yeah, I echo what Frank said. I'm no expert, and I
Yep.
have only read it a couple of times, but it does seem to me there's an opportunity for us to perhaps strengthen a couple of the strong preferences of the board with respect to West Chatham Neighborhood Center, with respect to promoting / requiring year-round housing.
Right.
Year-round occupancy.
Right.
Restricting short-term rentals.
Right.
There's an opportunity under the seasonal designation for both, and to offer a preference for, the various things that are provided as acceptable, and that furthers the interest in year-round housing, because they would be to year-round residents. So all of that would seem to me to explain to the public why those provisions are there, and would be a way to strengthen what was always felt to be sketchy or not clear with respect to what could be approved by the state until the seasonal community
Right.
law was passed.
Right.
And what's in there does seem to strengthen, allow us to strengthen, and certainly allow us to explain to the public that what's in there is in accordance with the seasonal designation and of providing preference and so on. So at any rate, I am hoping that we can come up with some revisions as a result of the requirements in the seasonal designation law, but get them at least concurrent with other zoning changes that are required by that, such that as much of the zoning that is required for the seasonal communities law, as much of the zoning, including West Chatham Neighborhood Center, is all done at the same time.
Right, but each of,
That would make it more likely that we will get buy-in by the towns if it's part of a whole package, if as opposed to just the West Chatham Neighborhood Center standalone.
but these are gonna be separate articles. We're not, there's not gonna be a single article that deals with seasonal communities, West Jam Neighborhood Center, ADU. These are each gonna be separate articles.
No, I understand that,
Okay.
but if they are, if they're 5, 4, 3, 2, however many articles there are.
Right.
If they are essentially proposed at the same town meeting and can be, someone
Yep.
or some bodies would be able to create the overall vision of,
Right.
what is happening here to the zoning. And that, to me, is a preferable way to get approval to the West Chatham Neighborhood Center than trying to just have it standalone. And the only zoning article that has anything to do with the, density and preference and restricting short-term rentals and so on.
Well, as we all saw at the town meeting, you have 5 minutes. That's it. I don't think the communication is going to be at town meeting floor. I think we have to either have it as part of our informational sessions at our board meetings here, setting it aside as an agenda item, or has a separate meeting of, an informational meeting to the community on. I think those are our two avenues if we want to get any one of these things, whether it's seasonal communities, the ADU, the West Chatham Neighborhood Center. I think those are going to be our communication mechanisms between now and May town meeting. Okay, any other comments or questions by board members? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Nope, not yet.
Can I bring up one more
Yep.
thing that we talked about a little bit on the small house lots?
Oh, sure.
So if you had a 1 acre lot and you could divide it into 6 pieces and make that a small subdivision for small houses. That would be one way to make small lots, but adhere to setbacks
Yep,
and like a small community.
yep,
That would be one way to do it, instead of having just single individual lots.
right.
Motion adjourned.
Okay. All right, do I have a second? All right, a roll call vote. Warren?
Approve.
Bob? Approve. Frank?
Approved.
Bob?
Approve.
And Art Sprue, I approve, and the time is 5:59?